The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2015 Spring Release in 15 minutes. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our presenter for today, Director of Solutions Architects here at Infinity Infosystems, Mike Hammonds.
Thank you, Matt, and thank you, everyone, for joining us in our Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2015 Spring Release overview. Being that this is our 15-minute session, we're going to just cover really, I think, the highlights of the spring release. And I'm excited about a lot of this new stuff because this is some really great productivity enhancements that we're seeing in this particular release. And I think we're just seeing some amazing work by the Microsoft development team, in particular around making it easier to use, making it faster for end users, and just overall increasing productivity. So today we're going to cover these elements: navigation enhancements, themes, folder tracking, Excel, Power BI, OneNote, and Outlook Preview and Smartphone Refresh. So there's lots of new stuff coming, but again, this is all mostly end user focused. There's some other things in there, but we'll cover that at a different session. Okay, so with that, we're just going to jump right into a few demos here. And so let's start with the new navigation. Okay, so new navigation is hit, and by the way, this is released now, so if you happen to go out and check out a new trial, you'll see the new 2015 spring release. Most of you already should have gotten notification that the spring release is being scheduled for your environments. If you're not, let us know. We can maybe help out with that, track that down, or definitely your admin should have been getting those notifications. So with that, the navigation enhancements I think are huge, and you'll see as part of that this what they call the hamburger menu. And you know, I guess if you really do a stretch, it sort of could be a hamburger. By what they mean by that is kind of the little three slashes here. So you can think the top and the bottom are the buns, and in the middle is the meat, right? But what's nice here is that we now finally have a single view, a single page of all of the entities, right? So if you recall, if we used to go to sales, you'd end up having this long scroll bar here that you'd have to then scroll far over to the right to see what was there. And then if you missed it, you had to scroll back to the left. Or more than likely, you probably misclicked something and either clicked the wrong entity or the little bar disappeared before you could click what you wanted. Just a little bit frustrating from time to time. So now you've got just everything in one click. So here's all of my sales-related entities, so I don't have to go searching for them. And so if I want to say, oh, look, I just want to go to accounts, boom, I can go to accounts. If I go click back again, here now are just those entities related to sales. If I go back to my hamburger menu, oh, maybe I want to see what's under marketing, and now here's everything under marketing. So yay, no more scrolling right and left, and we got it very easy to access. Okay, so love that. That's the main thing on the navigation there. Another piece, though, that they've added in, they took this away. In 2011, we had this recently used list, right? So any account, contact, opportunity that you navigated to, it would keep that in a running history, so that if you use certain accounts and contacts or ops a fair amount, you had 1 or 2 click access to those. So we finally brought that back as well. And so, and I think they even improved it a little bit in that you now have, if you click this little, what looks like a little clock icon, it'll show you a list of the records as well as views that you've recently navigated. So here you can see I went in and I went into a few of these, but it's just nice that it'll keep tracking those. So if I say go into Litware, and then if we go take a look back at my recently used history, you'll see that Litware shows up there as well. And if I happen to like one and I know that I'm going to be using it a lot, I can even pin them so that they always stay in that quick little access area. Okay, so recently used is another big usability enhancement there. Okay, and then the rest has already come. You know, you got your quick create and search and all that, so that doesn't change there. Okay, so good one there. Next, we're going to move on to themes. Okay, and themes is great. This is something that a lot of people have asked for. One of the things is, you know, can I change the logo here? Can I change the color of the headers? And the answer has always been no. But now, yippee, we actually have the ability to go in and modify those. Now, probably not to the extent that some people would like, but I think it's a great improvement in that now you can go into the customizations area. So you do have to have administrative privileges to do this. And you go into your themes section, okay? And you can have any number of themes. And what's nice about this is I can now match my organizational color schemes, for example, or I could also have my own company logo or a different logo up here in the corner. So I select the theme that I want, hit Publish Theme, and now what you're going to see is abracadabra, alakazam, boom. Now we just changed all the color schemes. So now you'll see that I've got my red bar up here, I've got my awesome CRM logo, and I can pretty much change any of those color schemes from the highlight bars, which I didn't do here, but if you wanted those to be, pink or some sort of lighter color, you can do that. The hyperlink colors, if you wanted this instead be blue, you want those to be, purple or some other color, you can do those. So you can go crazy, so be careful. Don't go too crazy on those. But it's just nice that you now can, pick more of a theme that will fit your particular business. And that's just, I think, a nice thing that's been added here. Okay. So let's now go in and look at the next one up on the list, folder tracking. Okay. So folder tracking, I think, is a huge improvement. One of the things people have always asked for is, can I track in CRM in the Outlook web app? Okay. If you're familiar with Outlook web app, this is essentially Outlook only through a web browser, right? And the answer, unfortunately, has always been no, or kind of sort of. If you set up email router, you could do it, and you could kind of sort of do it in server-to-server synchronization, but it wasn't all that user-friendly, and the user didn't have control. That was more than administratively controlled. So now, as an end user, I can go in and set my own folders. Okay, so for example, if I wanted to just start to track one of these, and I just wanted it to track in CRM and go and find a particular record to see if the record was already existing and link it to that record, I can just create a folder called Track in CRM, and it'll work just like Track in CRM and Outlook does. Okay. But they've now also extended that, and I can say, you know what, I want to be able to create a particular folder, link that folder with a particular account or contact or opportunity or literally any entity. And then when I drag and drop this over and put that into my Fabricam folder, that is going to link that particular email with Fabricam the account, because I've gone in and I've set it up to say I want this folder in Exchange to be linked with Fabricam the account in CRM. And how you do that is, once you've set this up, you go into your CRM, you go into your options, click your little gear icon, go into options, and then under email, you'll see a new little section here, configure folder tracking rules. And so in here, I've said my track and folder CRM in Exchange, I just want it to go to basically everything and work just like track and CRM does inside of Outlook, the Outlook desktop. But in this case, I picked the Exchange folder called Fabricam, and I said link that with the CRM record called Fabricam Inc. Very simple and easy to do. So I can set up any number of those. And then if we go back to, I'm going to go to Fabricam, use my nifty new recently accessed. I go into Fabricam, and then we should see that email that I dragged and dropped from the inbox to their folder also set up here under Activities in my Outlook. So there it is, info on XYZ right there. All right, so pretty sweet, right? Now, next up, we've got Excel enhancements. So I'm going to just go into my opportunities here, because everybody likes to analyze their opportunities in Excel. And this one is, they've been totally revamped, and this is one of my favorites. Now you can open this in Excel, right? And I'm sorry, Excel Online. Check this out. This is sweet. Okay, so we go in, and I don't want to show that anymore, so let's go in. I'm going to open this up. It's opening in Excel Online. Ooh, nice, right? Now watch, it gets even better. I can come into here, and this is just kind of for like a quick analysis. Okay, I want to do a quick auto sum there, and maybe I want to do a quick average of my probabilities there. Boom, boom. Okay, we've got 126,000 and 88% probability. Looks good. I can also even come into here, look, and we're going to change this to just say 50,000. I can edit this in Excel, right, online. And now what that will do is that will save that change back to my CRM record. How's that for awesomeness, right? So think about if you're a rep and you're working 20 deals, 20 opportunities, you know, and you got to go in and you got to edit each one of them. Prior, you had to go through a little more convoluted process of exporting, getting it into Excel, modifying it, and then going and re-importing. Well, now you can just do it all right here, save those changes, and now if I save changes to CRM, it's going to take the modifications that I made there, and then you'll see, and it usually takes about 30 seconds to a minute, it will update that revenue there from 20,000 to 50,000. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a second so you can kind of see how that works. So beautiful in that I don't have to go through that multi-step process. I literally make my changes, click one button, and boom, it will be up. Okay, and so here we are. Once we've imported the data, we just hit refresh a couple times, and boop, there it is. Change to 50 grand. So very simple, easy updates to our opportunity data from Excel Online. Love it. Next up then is our, oh, and while I'm on here, you can now also, this has been enhanced quite a bit in that it used to download some weird kind of format that you had to save, and then you had to, you know, in like some weird XML format. But now you can just open it up in standard Excel, hit your enable editing, and you're good to go. So they really made a big improvement just overall in even the standard Excel import. And now it's the XLSX format, the modern format. Okay, it's a real nice addition there. And now let's go into our Power BI connector. So speaking of Excel, the other thing that you're going to notice now is finally under our other sources, we're going to have our Dynamics CRM Online. So that never was there until recently. Then if you select that, it'll just give you a little pop-up box. You come in, you type in your Dynamics CRM URL, you hit OK, and it'll go in and connect to your CRM Online instance. Okay? And then you can start using your Power BI that way. Okay, you could still get to it previously, but you had to go through OData and all that, and that was just kind of confusing to end users. Okay, that's still supported. It's just now you have a specific connector there. Hit refresh. I know it's going to update here. It will. So Power BI connector. Now another great one. This one is OneNote integration. And so I'm going to go back to my Fabricam again. And you know, I used to be a big Evernote fan, and I loved it because it was available on all my devices and it synchronized everything. But literally, probably in the last year or so, especially with all the improvements in OneNote Online, I'm a huge OneNote fan now. And I'd highly recommend if you've used Evernote, you love Evernote, check out OneNote now because it's really, I think, on par with Evernote now. But what you'll see is once you go into the account level, there's a new little OneNote area that's set up. And it will actually, if there isn't a OneNote created, it will automatically create one for you. And then if you go in and create new additional folders or sections in there, it'll show those up as well. So I can either do this online, and I can open this up right in the online environment. So here's my OneNote online. I can even go in and I can edit online and save changes. So now we can collaborate with each other here, and now anybody else who goes back into that account and opens up that OneNote, they'll see that information there. But I can also use my desktop OneNote. So if I create another project here, let's just call this marketing, you know, and I can put in any details here that I want. That's actually then going to save those details. And again, that'll take, you know, 20, 30 seconds or so for that to update. But then what we'll see is back in my CRM, I'll see that additional section show up here. Okay, so OneNote, loading, boom, there's that new marketing section. Pretty sweet, right? I love that. So pretty awesome there. So with that, we're almost up on our 15-minute mark, so I'm going to finish out with two new things. They're not quite yet released, okay? So I'm just going to show you a couple of screenshots here, just so you see what those look like. And if we, boom, go into where we left off, one is an Outlook web app, okay? So if you've been using Outlook 2013 and Exchange 2013, you'll notice that there's these new apps, what they call them helper apps. Bing Maps is in there out of the box, a Task Manager's out of there in the box, but now you'll have a dynamic CRM. And so if you link this to CRM, you'll actually have preview information right inside of your Outlook web app, as well as standard Outlook. Okay, so this is supported on both online and your on-premise or desktop Outlook. So that's pretty sweet in that the CRM information will show up right in line there, and it'll look a lot more like this. So this is still inside your inbox, inside the email, and shows you all that associated information. Pretty sweet, I think. Okay? So it saves you the steps of having to click on the hyperlink and open up the record and then wait for that record to open. It's now going to be right there in line. Okay, I think that's awesome. And then finally, we're going to finish up on the smartphone refresh. And if any of you have used that in the past, you'll know it's basic, it works okay, but it wasn't the most pretty user experience. But now it's going to match the tablet experience, which I think is a great experience. So you have your little hamburger menu here, and you'll see all your entities, and then you'll see your dashboards. You'll see this little toolbar, whether your iPhone, iPad, or Windows Phone. And then it'll have the tile feature, and we'll just have that same experience that we have on the tablets. It's now just shrunk down to the phone device. So much prettier, much easier to use, and supports a lot more of the features that the tablet phones do as well. So with that, we probably have maybe 1 or 2 minutes for Q&A, and then we'll wrap this up.
Mike, I see here we've got the Outlook folder tracking. Does that work on any mobile device?
Greg, thanks for bringing it up. That is the beautiful thing about that. I showed that in Outlook web app, but if you have those same folders you created in Exchange, those folders will be available on your iPhone, on your Android phone, on your Windows phone, and so now you can track on any of those devices, smart tablets as well. So you can move any of your emails that are in your inbox to any of those folders on any of those devices, and it'll start to track just like it does the way I demonstrated there.
Great. And the other one that I have is that you demonstrated the Power BI connector for CRM Online. Does it work for on-premise as well?
Yes. The connector that I demonstrated in Excel actually will say CRM Online. So it'll say CRM Online. We can still connect to CRM on-premise. We just have to go through the OData feed, and either that information will be behind your firewall if you're not IFD. By the way, you should be. But otherwise, if you are IFD, it's very easy to grab your OData feed link and then use that as well for your on-premise. And just for those real quick, so if you want to know where that's at, you go into your settings, you go into customizations. Look how much faster that navigation is. Go into developer resources, and then it's this link right here. That's your OData feed link. And you just kind of grab that. I like to click on it, grab a copy of that, and then that you can use for your OData feed in Excel for your CRM on-premise. Any other questions?
It appears that that's all the questions.
With that, I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.